As Rahul mentioned, we actually started our AMI journey about 10 years ago. We finished full deployment 6 years ago, so we've had a time to actually gain some benefits. And so I actually have some slides that show some of the tangible benefits. Most will apply to India. They'll be a little bit different, obviously, because of labor rates, et cetera. And so I'd like to, and I say advanced metering system. In Texas, we had to be different because that's where we are. That stands for advanced metering system. It also stands for a lot of missed sleep, because when you're deploying, you're gonna have that, and a lot of magical stuff. Because once you start that process, it's amazing the things you'll find. So again, we're deregulated. The retailers, when we have switching and service orders, they send us an electronic transaction, and we act on that without any, generally without human intervention. We're 3.5 million meters, 10 million people, and we cover about a third of Texas. So the obvious one, O&M savings, this is a given. Oncor had 350 meter readers and 300 field service personnel. Once we finished our deployment, we're down to about 80 to 90 field service personnel. So every one of those people had a truck, insurance, fuel, environmental impacts, and of course safety, because meter readers are obviously the most safe drivers. You know, those are all your 18 to 20-year-old kids that have lots of good safety records. In fact, at Oncor, the meter readers, their safety record was usually backed out of the company-wide because it impacted it too much. So this is a great example. This is something easily calculated. Obviously, the numbers will be a bit different based on Indian standards. Service order automation, this is a given. Oncor does over 4 million service orders a year. So we've been doing 4 to 4.5 million over the last 6 years and after that. So every one of those in the past was a truck roll. 4 million truck rolls saved. Now you don't have 100% success, but think of that, 4 million truck rolls. Automation is a given. AMS and OMS integration, this is probably the best thing that's being done now. It does save on your restoration times. It also gives you a way to notify your customers. You can send a text to the customer when you get an AMI message that says your power is out. As opposed to in the past with OMS, you go, we think your power's out. So you know definite, so you can see actually true customer benefits. Related to that, before Oncor rolls any truck, before we create a ticket and we ping or do an on-demand read of every meter in that ticket, every one. 25% of the time, it's not a utility issue. The ODRs we do have a voltage, line and load side voltage, so you can see if it's a problem on your side or not. So 25% of the time, it's a customer issue, so we do not have to roll a truck. That's a lot of saved truck rolls. We also have found that because we get notifications during the day, we actually have a chance to fix the problem before the customer even gets home from work. And it says on there, I don't know if you can read at the bottom, over 20%, it runs 20 to 25% a year, are cases where the customer never even calls in. Our call center volume used to be very steep between 5 and 7 p.m. when people got home from work, and that call center volume has shrank considerably because of us having prior notification via AMI. Those are also things that you can easily calculate. The ability to see power quality issues. Meters have lots of events, hundreds of events. You find the ability to correlate those. It leads to secondary problems, termination issues, bad connectors. You have to retrain your crews a bit. Thermography is obviously important. In the past at a utility, if the lights were on, what did they do? They called on the radio and said, lights are on, we're good to go. We made people go back out and find the problem. So if you look at the graph, we avoided 9,300 outages since 2012. That doesn't seem like a lot, but if those outages were feeder level, that's a lot of dollars saved. And because of this, we're actually fixing these during the day. So again, you've got reactive maintenance versus planned maintenance, and you've got overtime versus normal working hours. These are things you can easily calculate. Other issues, meter issues, tampering, 3% of these cases, and like Daniel said, our estimate is 1 to 2%, but we actually have about 24 different algorithms we run on a daily basis to look for tampering and theft detection. And so we've saved a few $1 million or recovered a few $1 million via theft. The other thing is no problem found. We know there's something going on. We just haven't figured out what that means yet. We have the data. We have to correlate the data to determine what it really means. Then I've got a bunch of other things, and Daniel mentioned transformer predictive failures. Oncor does that. Asset health, monitoring asset health of equipment, load management, sharing the mesh with distribution automation. There's a lot of other things you can do that you can actually calculate the savings on. So I actually have a couple of takeaways here. Obviously, field personnel, that's an easy one. Service order automation is a given. OMS integration is the next thing. But AMS is the enabler for all of this. There's a lot of things you can do to save money and regain benefits. So, thank you.